Welcome back to Mozzie Sales. Another day in the America's Cup match, and again, kind of preconceptions blown apart. I think most of us were expecting Rossa to do really well in these light wind conditions, but actually it was fairly even. Again, we saw Team New Zealand, when they could get ahead and sail their own lanes, are more than capable in the light breeze. Also, Team New Zealand do have quite a good high mode as well, which is impressive. However, still not much overtaking, and even quite a lot of people talking about the starts, and even there, it's just a procession. Port boat enters, wins the start and race. Now, I actually kind of disagree with that. I think it's more coincidence than it is by design. Sure, the port entry has a bit of an advantage in that they only have to make one maneuver, attack or a jibe, to time to come back to the line, and they can kind of choose when they come back to the line. Whereas the starboard boat, generally, if they want to engage and kind of chase the port boat, then they have to do a jibe first and then decide to do attack or a jibe later. Um, so there's a little advantage to the port boat, that's given, but I don't think it's really that's deciding starts. If we take a look, the very first start of the match, Rossa almost won that start from being the starboard entry. Um, they were coming back to the line. They were just a little bit early, and actually, I think it was more just a judgment call in where Jimmy did the little shimmy to kill off the speed before the start, which actually won the start for Emirates Team New Zealand more than them just being port entry. Additionally, that start was starboard end favoured, so again, just the extra momentum that Team New Zealand carried through, and the kind of advantage of maybe 1 or 2 meters just being further up to the right, gave Team New Zealand that start. Although it could have easily gone the other way to Luna Rossa, a lot of small details. Um, so I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. And again, Luna Rossa today lost another start on starboard entry where they tacked around. It looked like Jimmy was going to go for the hook. I'm not sure he really was. I think he was just threatening it, which is an okay move. We know already the hooks never work, but a bit of pushing just to kind of get Emirates Team New Zealand down the line, that did work. And again, it just went wrong in that just the timing of the dial up was a little bit thin and left them in a close lane. Again, it was the line had switched. I think it was a little bit more port bias, which handed the advantage to Emirates, and they stuck it in a high low mode. So again, kind of quite close to Luna Rossa winning that start. It wasn't. It was only really tiny details which are out. So I don't think it is um, just a foregone conclusion that the port entry wins. I think it's actually a bit more open than that. One thing I would like to see the starboard entry boats do is break the mold a little bit. They're always jibing and following and then being dictated to a little bit by what the port boat does. I actually think there's a good case to be made for a port start. So the starboard boat could basically mirror what the port entry does, sail out to the edge of the box, tack or jibe round, and come back on a slightly above the port lay. Um, and then, first of all, that would confuse the port entries now coming back on starboard was right. But the way the rules are working out, I don't think a starboard boat coming back towards the line is as great advantage as it would be normally in match racing. With how the rules are being interpreted about changing your course and giving room for the keep clear boat to keep clear, means you can't really do these extreme dial downs. If you're coming back to the line on starboard, it's kind of quite difficult to do a dial down. I'm not sure if you'd even get away with it in the rules. And if the port boat can just take your stern, I mean, they're going to have to take your stern first of all. So that's it. You're kind of conceding to taking the stern. But a close duck on someone and then heading out into clear air isn't such a bad thing. We see it happen in a lot of the pro fleets like the 49ers. I think I know it's a fleet start, but again, often very good starts to be had doing this, and I don't think the tools in the rules as they stand for this match make it so impossible to deny that if you're the starboard boat. So I think I would like to see one of the teams throw a spanner in the works. Certainly, as things stand, if all the port entries win their races, then Emirates Team New Zealand will win the cup by virtue of doing the 13th race on port entry. So maybe Luna Rossa, if they really think it is this port entry which is winning everything, they should throw a bit of a spanner in the works, carry on starboard, tack back, come back with their own timed approach on port, and just either hit the line at full speed or hit Emirates Team New Zealand's transom at full speed. Either is just as good. So yeah, I'd like to see that. Finally, one other thing I noticed today, I was actually looking at the footage yesterday when I did the tacking analysis, and I compared Emirates to Luna Rossa, and I was thinking, oh, Pietro looks a bit doddery moving across the back of the boat. Certainly not moving from side to side as easily as he once did. So I went back and looked at America's Cup World Series, and there's definitely a difference there. And I worked out what it was. They've actually completely changed the fairing on the back of Luna Rossa. Now they've got almost completely enclosed cockpits with quite high deck just behind the cockpit, smoothed it off, and actually the whole deck from the mast backwards looks a lot more flat than it once was. So quite a big change in the aero package of Luna Rossa there. Anyway, that's it for today. Looking forward to some more racing. It's going to be super light for the next few days, and I don't know, unless we lose some days and the cup carries on longer into reserve period, then looks like it's going to be quite a light win cup, but two very evenly matched teams, and I think there is a bit more subtlety and intrigue to these starts than just port boat entering and winning. So yeah, take care, enjoy the racing, catch you soon.